Stop. Before you spend that Lincoln penny, take a closer look. One tiny detail could turn an ordinary 1-cent coin into a life-changing treasure. Today, we're counting down the top 3 Lincoln pennies that collectors dream of finding. And number 1 could be worth millions of dollars. The 1969 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent. It sits in your pocket, your jar, your old coffee can, completely invisible. Or is it? Act 1. The hook. Stop what you are doing. Right now. Look down at your hand. Think about the last time you paid for something with cash. That dull, copper-colored coin the cashier slid back across the counter. The one you barely glanced at before shoving it into your pocket alongside your keys and a crumpled receipt. You saw a penny. You saw 1 cent. You saw nothing. But what if that coin, that same unremarkable piece of copper you were about to toss into a jar or spend on absolutely nothing, was actually a $780 payday? What if the difference between pocket change and a mortgage payment was simply a matter of knowing what to look for? This is the story of the 1969 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent, a coin that embodies the ultimate divide in the world of numismatics. The spender versus the collector. The spender sees a penny and thinks, useless. The collector sees a penny and thinks, possibility. The spender sees copper. The collector sees history, error, and potential wealth. And in 1969, at the Philadelphia Mint, over 1 billion of these pennies were struck. 1 billion. Let that number sink in. 1 billion chances for something to go wonderfully, lucratively wrong. And something did. Act 2. The confrontation. To understand the ghost in the market that is the 1969 no-mint Mark penny, you have to understand the rules. In 1969, the Philadelphia Mint did not place a P-mint mark on its circulating coinage. That is the first rule and the first trap. A coin without a mint mark from this era is not an error. It is standard. It is the baseline. However, within that baseline, the specter of rarity emerges from the shadows of imperfection. The true value is not in the absence of a mark, but in the presence of something else. We are talking about errors, specific, identifiable, and increasingly legendary errors that transform a common cent into a collector's trophy. The 1969 penny value ranges from just a few cents for common circulated examples to over $35,000 for rare error coins. But the $780 valuation that has the numismatic world buzzing? That is the sweet spot for a very specific kind of treasure hunter. Consider the no FG error. On the reverse of the Lincoln Memorial cent, designed by Frank Gasparo, his initials FG appear near the base of the memorial. In some 1969 D pennies, these initials are missing entirely due to an over-polished die. The result is a floating roof, where the memorial's roof appears to float without support. While some dismiss this as a common die event, high-grade uncirculated examples with this error can sell for hundreds of dollars. But the real prize, the one that pushes values toward that $780 mark and beyond, involves a confluence of factors. The Philadelphia Mint struck 1,136,910,000 pennies in 1969. Finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is a challenge. Finding one with a dramatic mint error, like a clipped planchet, a die crack, or a double die, is like finding a needle in a haystack the size of a small city. The coin becomes a ghost because its rarity is not about scarcity of production. It is about the scarcity of survival in high grade combined with a specific, undeniable mistake made during the minting process. One of the most notorious errors from this year, however, does not bear the Philadelphia no-mint mark, but the San Francisco S. The 1969 S double die obverse is the holy grail, a coin so rare that the Secret Service once seized examples, believing them to be counterfeits. The doubling on the obverse inscriptions is so dramatic that it can fetch prices ranging from $25,000 to over $600,000 at auction. While the $780 coin we are focusing on is a more accessible target, it is part of the same family of hidden wealth that makes this era of Lincoln cents so intoxicating. The market is hot, and the hunters are out there, sifting through change with the intensity of gold prospectors. Act 3. The resolution. So, what is the 1969 no-mint Mark penny really worth? The answer is a spectrum. A heavily circulated example is worth its copper melt value, about 2 to 3 cents. An average circulated coin might fetch 15 cents to $2. But an uncirculated coin, graded MS65, can bring in around $5.75. A gem quality MS66 or higher, values can climb to $520 or more. And when you add a distinct, recognized error to that high-grade coin, you enter the realm of the $780 payday. This is not a fantasy. This is the current market reality. Collectors are actively seeking these coins, and auction records prove that the demand is real. Here is your call to action. Do not wait. Do not assume your pocket change is worthless. Take 5 minutes right now. Go to that jar on your dresser, that box in your closet, that old coin purse you haven't opened in years. Look for the 1969 date. Look for the absence of a mint mark. Then look closer. Examine the reverse for the missing FG initials. Look at the edge for any irregularities. Use a magnifying glass. This is not about luck. This is about awareness. The $780 coin is out there, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what they are looking for. Be that someone. The window of opportunity is now. The market is hungry, and every day, more collectors join the hunt. But if you think the 1969 penny is the only secret hiding in your spare change, you are only scratching the surface. There is another coin, an ultra-rare error from a different year, that could be sitting in your pocket right now, and its value will absolutely shock you. You reach into your pocket to pay for a pack of gum, and your fingers brush against a few loose pennies. You pull them out, glance at them indifferently, and hand them over to the cashier without a second thought. Now freeze that frame. What if I told you that in that moment you might have just handed away a down payment on a house? What if that dull copper-colored disc you treated like pocket change was, in fact, a ghost? A numismatic phantom worth more than most people earn in a decade. This is the story of the 1971 South Lincoln Center, a coin that draws a razor-thin line between the spender and the collector, between ignorance and a life-changing fortune. We are living in an age where hidden wealth is literally sitting in jars, forgotten in drawers, and jingling in the pockets of millions of Americans who have no idea what they are holding. The average person sees a penny and thinks of it as a nuisance, something to be discarded or left as a tip. But the savvy collector, the one who pays attention, knows that 1971 was a year that produced some of the most enigmatic and potentially lucrative error coins in modern American history. And at the very top of that pyramid sits a specific variety of the 1971 South Lincoln Center that has sent shockwaves through the auction world, with values that have reportedly reached as high as an astonishing $690,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. Almost $700,000 for a single cent. Now, I know what you are thinking. I have jars of pennies at home. I have 1971 pennies. And you are right, you probably do. But the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny that could secure your retirement is measured not in years, but in millimeters and microscopic details that most people would never think to examine. The San Francisco Mint struck over 525 million pennies in 1971. The vast majority of those are common, worth only a few cents or at best, a few dollars in pristine condition. But buried within that mountain of copper and zinc are a select few, a microscopic fraction of a percent, that possess catastrophic minting errors so dramatic, so visually striking, that they transcend their face value entirely. They are not coins. They are artifacts of a broken process, beautiful mistakes that the market has come to treasure. We need to talk about the difference between a coin you spend and a coin you preserve. The 1971 penny you find in your change is almost certainly a business strike, a coin mass-produced for circulation with a standard matte finish. It was never meant to be anything more than a tool for commerce. But the San Francisco Mint was also producing proof coins during this era, specially struck pieces intended for collectors, boasting mirror-like backgrounds and frosted, cameo details that make them look like tiny pieces of jewelry. The proof coins were struck not once, but twice on specially polished planchets, and they were sold directly to collectors in proof sets. Over 3.2 million proof sets were produced in 1971, and while many of those proof pennies are valuable, they are not the stuff of legends. The legends are born from chaos, from the moments when the minting process went terribly, wonderfully wrong. Let us confront the errors, the specific ghosts in the machine that turn a common coin into a king's ransom. The first, and perhaps most famous, is the double die obverse error. This occurs not during the striking of the coin itself, but during the creation of the die used to strike it. When the hub that impresses the design into the die is misaligned during a second impression, it creates a duplicate, a ghost image of the design elements. On the 1971 S, this dramatic doubling is most visible on the date and the word liberty. It is not a subtle smudge. It is a clear, distinct doubling that you can see with the naked eye if you know where to look. This variety, designated FS101, is a premier modern rarity. A 1971 S double die obverse proof penny in high grade has sold for thousands of dollars. But the double die is just the beginning. Imagine a coin that is not just doubled, but struck on the wrong metal entirely. This is the realm of the wrong planchet error. In September of 2024, a 1971 South Lincoln Center struck on an aluminum planchet sold at auction for an incredible $31,200. This coin weighs less than 1/4 of what a standard copper cent should weigh, a clear indication that it was struck on a blank intended for a foreign coinage, possibly for Nepal or the Philippines. It is a tangible piece of minting chaos, a coin that should never have existed. But the errors do not stop there. There are off-center strikes, where the coin is not properly aligned with the dies, leaving a crescent of blank metal. There are triple-struck coins, where the planchet was fed into the press multiple times. There are coins struck through foreign objects, leaving strange indentations and textures on the surface. And there is the repunched mint mark, where the S mint mark was stamped over another S, creating a fascinating doubling of the mint mark itself. But the true crown jewel, the coin that has the numismatic world buzzing, is the convergence of these errors. Imagine a single 1971 South Lincoln Center that possesses not one, but two significant errors, the double die obverse and the repunched S/S mint mark. This is a coin that exists. Graded PF65RD by NGC. It is a proof coin of near-perfect condition, with a star designation for exceptional eye appeal and the RD designation indicating it has retained its vibrant, original copper color. This is not just an error coin. It is a masterpiece of imperfection, a coin that tells a story of a minting process on the brink of error, producing a piece that is both historically significant and visually stunning. Now, we must address the elephant in the room, the $690,000 valuation. While the most publicized sales for standard 1971 S double die obverse coins have reached into the thousands, with one MS67 example selling for $690 and others reaching over $3,000. The $690,000 figure represents the absolute pinnacle of possibility. It is the theoretical ceiling, the kind of price that is achieved when a coin possesses every single desirable attribute. A dramatic, undeniable error, a perfect or near-perfect grade, a prestigious pedigree, and, most importantly, two ravenous collectors locked in a bidding war. This is the price that keeps collectors up at night, the price that makes them sift through rolls of pennies with trembling hands. It is the FOMO, the fear of missing out, that drives this market. Because the truth is, no one knows exactly what the next great error coin will sell for. The market for these rarities is heating up. Error coins are no longer a niche curiosity. They are a legitimate asset class, sought after by investors and collectors alike. The 1971 S, with its unique position in history and its potential for dramatic errors, is at the epicenter of this growing frenzy. I want you to stop and think for a moment. I want you to look at the date on your screen. This is your pattern interrupt. Right now, in this very moment, I want you to visualize the coins in your home. Do you have a jar of pennies? A coin purse? A box of old things from your parents or grandparents? The 1971 S penny is out there. It is in circulation. It is in the hands of people who have no idea what they are holding. And every day, these coins are being spent, lost, or melted down, their potential fortune disappearing forever. The clock is ticking. Every day that passes, another potential treasure is lost to the grind of everyday commerce. So what do? How do you become the collector instead of the spender? The first step is awareness. You need to look at every penny you touch. You need to check the date. You need to look for that small S mint mark below the date. And then you need to look closer. Examine the letters. Look for doubling. Look for inconsistencies. Hold the coin at an angle to the light. If you see anything unusual, do not spend it. Do not clean it. Set it aside. The next step is education. Learn the difference between a double die and machine doubling, between a repunched mint mark and a die chip. Resources like the PCGS CoinFacts app and online variety databases are your best friends. And if you think you have found something special, the final step is professional authentication. Submit your coin to a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification is the key that unlocks the true value of your coin. This is not just about finding a valuable coin. This is about a mindset. It is about recognizing that value can hide in the most unassuming places. It is about paying attention to the details that everyone else ignores. The 1971 South Lincoln Center is a testament to the fact that fortune truly does favor the bold, the curious, and the informed. The market for these coins is not just hot. It is on fire. Collectors are actively searching for these rarities, and the demand is only going to increase as more people become aware of their potential. The time to act is now. As we close this chapter on the 1971 South Lincoln Center, remember this: the coins in your pocket are not just currency. They are history, they are art, and sometimes they are a lottery ticket waiting to be cashed in. Do not be the person who spends a fortune. Be the person who finds one. And speaking of hidden treasures, if you think the 1971 penny is a story, wait until you hear about the ultra-rare coin that has been flying under the radar for decades. A coin so elusive that most collectors have never even seen one in person. In our next video, we are going to uncover the mystery of the 1969 double die obverse Lincoln cent, a coin that makes the 1971 look like pocket change. You are standing in your kitchen, maybe pouring your morning coffee or sorting through the mail. You absent-mindedly empty your pockets, and a single penny falls out, clinking against the countertop. It's just a penny, right? A piece of copper that's worth exactly 1 cent. You'd probably scoop it up, toss it into a jar, or maybe even let it fall into the trash without a second thought. But what if I told you that one single penny, a coin that looks almost identical to the one you just dismissed, could be worth more than a luxury car, more than a down payment on a house, more than $680,000? Would you still throw it away? That right there is the difference between a spender and a collector. One sees a penny, the other sees a potential fortune. One mindlessly spends, and the other could be on the verge of a life-changing discovery. Now, this isn't just a fairy tale or some internet myth. We are talking about a specific, extremely rare variant of the 1969 Lincoln Memorial cent. And before you dismiss this as just another clickbait headline, I need you to understand the mechanics of how a coin, minted by the billions, can become worth a king's ransom. The Denver Mint alone produced over 4 billion pennies in 1969. 4 billion. With AB. So how could one of them be worth $680,000? The answer lies in a tiny, almost invisible error that occurred in the minting process. It's a ghost story, a tale of a mistake so rare that it has become the holy grail for modern coin collectors. This is the story of the 1969 penny, and why you need to check your change jar right now. Here's where it gets complicated, and this is the part that separates the true numismatists from the casual observers. When we talk about a $680,000 penny from 1969, we are primarily talking about the legendary 1969 double die obverse, or DDO. This coin is the crown jewel, the undisputed king of the memorial reverse Lincoln cents. It's the error that makes the Secret Service sit up and take notice. In fact, the 1969 DDO is so incredibly rare, with only an estimated 40 to 50 certified examples in existence, that when it was first discovered, the U.S. Secret Service actually confiscated a few of them, believing they were counterfeit. The doubling was so pronounced, so dramatic, that the government itself couldn't believe it was real. They had to literally investigate and verify their own mistake. That's how extraordinary this coin is. It's a piece of history that defies belief. Now, you might be thinking, but you said 1969D. My coin has a D mint mark, and you would be right to pay attention. The D mint mark signifies it was struck in Denver. While the $680,000 figure is most famously attached to the San Francisco S mint mark double die, the Denver D mint mark coins are not without their own valuable quirks. It's crucial to understand that the market for error coins is a minefield of nuance. A slight difference in a single letter can be the difference between a life-changing sum and a face value penny. I want you to stop what you're doing and look at a penny right now. Seriously, go grab one from your pocket, your wallet, or that jar on your dresser. Look at the reverse side, the side with the Lincoln Memorial. Do you see the tiny initials FG, just to the right of the steps? Those are the initials of Frank Gasparo, the designer of the memorial reverse. Now, what if I told you that a 1969 D penny that is completely missing those initials, a variety known as the No FG, FS901, could be worth significantly more than its face value? The No FG error occurs when the die becomes overpolished, essentially wearing down the design until the designer's mark is completely erased. While not a $680,000 coin, a pristine, uncirculated 1969 D No FG penny in full red RD condition can be a very collectible and valuable find. However, I must give you a critical warning. This is where the pattern interrupt comes in. Pay very close attention. Over 90% of the coins submitted to grading services as double dies from 1969 are actually just examples of machine doubling. What's the difference? A true double die is a mistake made when the die itself is created, struck twice by a hub. Machine doubling is a manufacturing error that happens during the strike, a kind of shelf-like doubling caused by a loose die. It adds virtually no value. Many sellers on sites like eBay will try to pass off machine doubling as a rare error to unsuspecting buyers. Don't be fooled. The true double die is a ghost, a rare and specific anomaly, while machine doubling is a common production blemish. So, if the 1969 D No FG isn't the $680,000 coin, what is? Let's circle back to the king, the 1969 S double die obverse. This is the coin that breaks records. A circulated example can easily sell for $10,000 to $20,000, while pristine, uncirculated mint state coins have been known to fetch well over $100,000. One remarkable story even surfaced of a 1969 SDDO found in an ordinary change jar that sold for an astounding $750,000. This is the kind of hidden wealth we are talking about. The kind that's sitting in someone's coin jar right now, completely unnoticed. The gray sheet, the industry standard for coin pricing, lists the value range for this series between 5 cents and $660,000. And that $660,000 figure is just the benchmark. Exceptional specimens in top-tier auctions have blown past that, reaching into the stratosphere of $750,000. And what makes this even more tantalizing is the timeline. These record-breaking sales aren't ancient history. They are happening right now in the current red-hot coin market. The demand is there, the buyers are there, and the money is there. The only thing missing, the coin itself. And it could be in your possession. Now let's talk about that D mint mark again. The confusion is understandable. Both the 1969 S and 1969 D pennies were minted in the same year with the same design. The difference is the tiny letter stamped below the date. While the D mint mark coins are more common, the search for the S mint mark error is what drives the market. The 1969 SDDO is so famous it's ranked 2 in the book 100 Greatest U.S. Modern Coins. It's a celebrity in the numismatic world. The point is, you cannot afford to be ignorant. You cannot afford to be the person who spends a $680,000 coin for a pack of gum. This is the urgency, the fear of missing out, that should be driving you to your coin jar right now. The market for these coins is not just stable. It's thriving. The recent sale of a 1969 SDDO for $126,500 and another that garnered $86,250 proves that collectors are willing to pay a premium for these ghostly rarities. This isn't just about collecting. It's about smart investing. It's about understanding that hidden wealth is often camouflaged as ordinary. It's about the thrill of the hunt. Every time you get change, every time you see a penny on the ground, you are being presented with an opportunity. The odds are against you, yes. The chance of finding a 1969 SDDO is astronomically small. But the chance is not zero. And that's what makes this pursuit so exhilarating. So what is the call to action? The simple. Stop ignoring your pocket change. Get a magnifying glass. Learn the difference between a true double die and machine doubling. Educate yourself. Look for that S mint mark on your 1969 pennies. Look for the missing FG initials on your D mint mark pennies. Take the time to do the research. You might just find that the key to your financial future has been sitting in a jar on your nightstand all along. You are not just a spender. You are a potential collector, a potential treasure hunter. The difference is knowledge, and now you have it. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. The world of coin collecting is vast and full of hidden treasures that can turn pocket change into life-changing wealth. Next time, we're going to dive deep into another ultra-rare coin that could be hiding in plain sight, a coin with a history so bizarre and a value so high it will make this one look like, well, pocket change.